Good morning. My name is Ben Quell. I serve as the Veteran Service Officer for the City of Attleboro. This morning, we will be having our annual Memorial Day Sunday service here at Hillside Service, a cemetery. At this time, present colors.
Sure, the colors are present.
Now, would you please remove your cover and join us for opening prayer?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Vandal. I'm the chaplain for Post 20, American Legion in Attleboro. Oh God, oh Heavenly Father, you have blessed us with brave men and women who are willing to defend our freedom. May your protection and grace surround them each day. Let your healing hand be upon those who suffer wounds and injuries. May those who have made the ultimate sacrifice rest forever in your holy presence. Comfort the families who mourn and are left to remember the precious lives of their loved ones. Help us to honor and support them. Let us ever be mindful of each sacrifice made on behalf of the American people by our sons, daughters, husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, and friends. Amen.
Thank you all for arriving here today. It's not just good to see you today, it's actually good to be able to see your faces. Memorial Day is an American holiday observed on the last Monday of May, honoring the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. Memorial Day, as Decoration Day gradually came to be known, originally honored only those lost while fighting in the Civil War. But during World War I, the United States found itself embroiled in another major conflict, and the holiday evolved to commemorate American military personnel who died in all wars, including World War II, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. These past two Memorial Days have tested our patience, but our patriotism remains unaffected by any disease or virus. The citizens of Attleboro will take this day to celebrate the lives of our fallen while mourning the loss their sacrifice to our nation required of them. As the late President Ronald Reagan once pointed out, we erroneously envision these men and women in our minds as old and grand, but in reality, they were just boys when they died. They lost two lives, the ones they were living and the ones they would have led. Which reminds me, let us refrain from using the term men and boys to describe our fallen. From 2001 through 2020, over 173 female service members have been killed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. Approximately 400,000 U.S. women served with the armed forces in World War II. 543 died in war-related incidences, 16 from direct enemy fire. Yes, we call them heroes, but let us not forget how many medals are awarded posthumously. So, to the citizens of the great city, enjoy each other's company, have your cookouts and celebrate the start of summer. But please remember in your hearts the many sacrifices it took to safeguard our way of life from oppression and tyranny. The disabled American veterans remind us that for countless families across the nation, Memorial Day is a stark and often painful reminder of those who were never afforded the opportunity to be honored as veterans for their service to our country. Their sacrifice is a true expression of selfless service, one that no one would pick for themselves. Whether they volunteered at a time of war, served during peacetime, or never expected to wear our nation's uniform until their draft card arrived, they represent the best America has to offer. We feel their loss roaming the sacred hills of Arlington National Cemetery and in other final resting places around the world. Too many mothers, fathers, siblings, and children feel the immense weight of seeing an empty chair year-round. For them, Memorial Day brings to the forefront what is always operating in the background: the harsh reality of war and military service in general is that not everyone will make it home. Let us honor the memory of heroes no longer with us, and let us strive to live up to the example set by such selfless patriots each and every day. Thank you, and God bless.
So good morning. My name is Ty Waterman. I am on City Council. I have the distinction and I think the very good fortune of being the first City Councilor to chair a committee that includes veterans. This is Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services now. So I'm delighted that this is under the umbrella of the City Council as well with the veterans. Memorial Day, I think for most of us, if not all of us, is a sacred time. It's a time to remember Americans who fought bravely and paid the ultimate price in defense of our freedom and of our democratic form of government. Perhaps we can all say what I'm about to say. I hope you can say this. I was fortunate that my ancestors did not have to pay that ultimate price, that my great-grandfather, who served in the Northern Navy as a doctor during the Civil War, lived and was safe, that both my grandfathers, who served in France in World War I, lived, and therefore I eventually was able to be born. One as an ambulance driver and one as a cavalry colonel, and that could have been a very risky position in the service. I was fortunate that my father served in the Coast Guard and that he was safe during World War II, and that my stepfather, although he wasn't my birth father, he raised me, survived in the Marines as a tank sergeant in Guadalcanal. He was a very serious man about the meaning of Memorial Day, and he taught me the meaning of it. And so every year growing up, like perhaps you did too, as a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout, I was marching miles and miles through the three sections of our town, which was about the size of Attleboro. Memorial Day is a time to honor those who protected each one of us and yet lost their lives. We owe our own freedom to those who bravely gave their lives that we may have a life, not just ourselves personally, but a life as a nation. Today, on this Memorial Day, 2021, I would like to suggest that each one of us take a moment and stand in front of a marked grave, or maybe a grave that isn't marked, that is draped by one of our flags, and say thank you. That can be a very meaningful moment. Thank you for protecting our family, our city, our country, and our democratic form of government. But not all veterans die in battle. Today I would like to mention an issue that is not easy to consider and yet is very, very important. And I would like to use as an example my own nephew. His name is Kenny. So this is Kenny's story. It's not beautiful, but it's very important. Kenny served in Afghanistan about 12 years ago for 2 years. He saw action. He didn't talk about it. He internalized it. He was quiet. But he witnessed that war in that faraway country, which I believe is now considered the longest war in the history of the United States. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. He came home on leave in Northern California. He went mountain climbing with his family. Well, I take that back, with a very good friend. He seemed happy. He seemed relaxed. And when he returned home, he privately and very quietly went into his garage. He turned on the keys of his car, and he was lost forever. It was a shattering blow to his family. And he never told us what happened, what made him make that decision. So this Memorial Day, I would like to lift up all veterans who suffer emotionally from the sting of war. Those who are wounded psychologically, whose bodies may be whole, but whose mind and soul have been damaged and shocked from the pain of war, while protecting the rest of us. I would like to suggest that we remember Kenny and those, maybe thousands like him, for they are also among the fallen heroes whom we need to honor on Memorial Day. I would like to say thank you for Kenny, for protecting us.
I've never been accused of blowing up the microphone by speaking too loud, but I will try. This is an honor every year to speak at this event for veterans who have made the ultimate sacrifice, and those words roll so freely, but the horror of dying in a lonely place in service to our country is something that we need to maintain, and I see that we still have an enthusiastic support here on a rainy, cold day. It's a special person that will do that pays that sacrifice. And what I've encountered here in Attleboro is a group of veterans who are they show a sense of loyalty and pride and service to their community I have not seen elsewhere. There's a group right here present today who do so much for the community. They're loyal to each other, they're respectful of each other, they joke with each other, but without hesitation, when there's somebody in need in the community, they step up to the plate. And it's a great honor, more than I can say, to be part of this celebration with them and honoring people who have given up their lives for our country. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Attleboro will now take this time to remember every member of this great city who paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation with a reading of the names by Mr. Ed Stanton.
We will now honor the veterans who have answered the final call since last Memorial Day. The names were collected from the Sun Chronicle over the past year. We read each flagged obituary if the veteran at any time called Attleboro home was educated here or is identified with Attleboro, the name is included. Please notify the Veterans Office with any omissions. The veteran will be included the following year. Veteran remembrances from past years are welcome. Memorial Day, May 31st, 2021. Veterans. George T. Ross, Army. Joseph A. Qualia, Marine Corps. Herman F. Gorman, Army. Melville T. Cronin, Navy. Philip E. Helbig, Army. Ronald A. Fortin, Marine Corps. William H. Adair, Marine Corps. Frank M. Verrier, Army. David White, Army. Oscar M. Tremblay, Army. William J. Burt, Army. Raymond M. Bonin, Navy. Ronald A. Rock, Air Force. Thomas J. King, Army. Ronald J. Grenier, Navy. Ronald J. Harris, Air Force. Richard I. Austin, Army. John J. Camara, Air Force. James G. Lent, Army. John Jack P. McGuire Sr., Army. Nathan Dale April, Air Force. Brenda L. Wilkinson, Army. Richard E. West, Army. Anthony J. Souza Sr., Navy. Theodore H. Moore, Army. James S. Brennan, Marine Corps. Donald M. Woodcock, Army. Frederick H. Benker, Jr., Army. Louis E. Salvis, Air Force. Thomas D. Parker, Army. Frederick E. Gerald, Air Force. Ronald A. Johnson, Navy. Donald R. Daly, Army. William E. Dulude, Sr., Air Force. James R. Hathaway, Sr., Army. Richard Ross Blackington, Marine Corps. Basil B. Barnes, Army. Francis M. McCarthy, Navy. Edward J. Tomilkas, Air Force. Harold E. Harry Morrisow, Jr., Army. John A. Chandler, Army. Gabriel E. Govier, Navy. Todd Willis, Army. Richard E. Dyan, Army. Harold P. Morin, Jr., Air Force. Gilbert Fernandez, Army. Stephen Peters, Jr., Marine Corps. Robert N. Palmer, Army. Robert R. Faulkner, Army. Armand R. Marion, Army. Ronald L. Churchill, Marine Corps. Ronald N. Palmer, Army. Herbert W. Church, Navy. Robert E. Seymour, Army. Donald P. Gagney, Army. Peter J. St. Saver, Jr., Navy. Aaron M. Ridge, Army. Eugene Aylesworth, Army. Kevin H. McGuire, Army. Harold E. Johnson, Army. William J. Sheehan, Jr., Navy. Walter S. LeMay, Army. David A. Pilling, Army. David W. Rickard, Army. Ernest M. Boudoir, Army. Edward S. Almeida, Army. Howard Johnson, Army.
Detail Commander, take charge. Hold up. Halt. Parade. Hurts. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our ceremony for this morning. Please now return to your lives in mournful remembrance of those men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice in honor of America and our way of life. Thank you very much, and God bless.